In a world where almost everyone is scared to be themselves, I truly believe that the highest form of entitlement is authenticity. For various amount of reasons, we all decide to not really show our true colors in certain scenarios and certain situations around certain people, and that all comes down to comfortability. For the longest, when I was in high school, I was dead quiet. I was dead silent. I wasn't goofy or energetic how I normally was. My whole demeanor would change because I was not comfortable in my environment and I did not like being there. And although this is true, the main culprit was me at the time, ultimately caring too much about what others had to say and what they thought about me. This normally stems from showing yourself too much and wearing your heart on your sleeve. In moments where you thought you could be yourself and you paid a price for it, you hide behind the walls that you build up. Now, at the end of the day, we all are entitled to be ourselves and be our true selves. And in order to not embarrass ourselves again and for protection, we hide who we truly are and the mask comes on. Now, this is damaging in the long run because we are constantly pretending to be somebody that we are not. Let me know if you can relate, but there are a lot of people that I've come across, friends or just people I know of, that are able to maneuver and act differently with different people. Now, when I was younger, I used to not like that. I used to think, why are you not just acting the same? Why are you changing who you are? Why are you acting like a transformer? It's funny, I just watched Transformer 1 again. It's a banging movie, but staying on topic, I didn't like how somebody would act different with me and with somebody else. Now, yes, there are relationship dynamics, but some of that changes who they are entirely. They speak different, they act different. That is somebody that is lost. I no longer look at people like that in a negative light or even make jokes about it, because at the end of the day, they cannot find the people to act themselves with. Hence, they are playing characters. Now, when you're playing all these different characters, it may not seem like a big deal, but you are losing yourself. If you hide who you truly are for too long, you lose the ability to be yourself and you get lost in those characters. That's called method acting. You see it all the time with celebrities or public figures where they have this persona and they get lost in it. Because all of a sudden it's not so simple as turning on the camera or looking in the mirror and making that switch. Because they are being torn in these characters, they're switching too much and they get lost in one. And most of the time, they get lost in their fake persona. This happens to me and you when we are not being our true selves. Because when we are acting one way and another with people or in a different surrounding environment, then we are only going to get lost in it and reject our true selves. A lot of the time, being yourself is connected to reaching your potential. But rarely do people ever mention that you not being yourself affects the real you. It prevents you from having the confidence to be yourself. So it is important that you learn how to not care what people think. It is important for you, not just every once in a while, but daily, for you to just nerd out. You gotta be able to one day find that one person or one set of people where you can just talk and talk and talk. Because a lot of us are able to talk to the people we care about, but when we're on that outside world, we're practically alone. We're practically acting completely different and we're withdrawn. And I did this for years of my life and I never knew how damaging it was. Until when I did meet good people, I was closed off because I was protecting myself, because I knew what happened last time I got a little too close, or I wore my heart on my sleeve, or I showed how I truly am and they looked at me like I'm some sort of weirdo, which I am weird, but the way they went about it just rubbed me off the wrong way. So when I did meet them good people, I was quiet and it took me a while to get back to how I truly was. With that being said, you gotta also be able to be silent. When you know you can be silent and it's not awkward, that's when you know you're around the right crowd. Nowadays, people think you have to be talking constantly, and I kind of have been saying that earlier. But even though I'm quite a loud guy at heart, well, with the right people again, I would say that I'm a very laid back, just chill, quiet guy. That's just who I am. So when I'm with people, I don't really always want to be talking. And it's hard when you are the person carrying conversations or you are a good conversationalist. But sometimes, when the social battery drains, I know you can relate and you just want to be quiet. There should not be anyone in your surrounding judging you or trying to say your energy's off when being silent is normal in a conversation. It's the same when you're on the phone with somebody. If you can't be silent with somebody on the phone, they're not the right person to be talking to anyway, right? My point is that the people around you, you need to be in control of that. Because not only do they affect your future, like you are told constantly, they affect the ability to you being the real you. I've always preached for a long time, look down my video catalog, to be yourself. You need to be able to be yourself every single day. Because the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you do anything, once you unlock yourself again, whether they've been trapped away for a long time or you're just not used to it, is gonna hit different. The happiness you feel when it's like, man, you know what? I can really be myself around her, around him, around them. That is something I cannot explain. That is something you need to experience yourself. It's an underrated feeling and people feel like that's a given. But trust me, there's a lot of people out here that cannot be their true selves. So not only in a negative way does it affect you because you're hiding who you truly are and you're split between the different characters you play and you're withdrawing from good people, you have your walls too high and you are not yourself. Not only does it do that, not only does all that damage occur, but you become very limited. At the end of the day, my friend, we all have the power to be ourselves. You just have to be brave enough to do so. We are all entitled to authenticity. All of us are, and that is the given. It's just the fear of going through what we went through before, the fear of being judged, and the fear of not being accepted. But I'm here to remind you that there are people in the world that are for you, that will accept you, and realize that you are beautiful just like everyone else. So you should not change for anyone, and you should not hide who you are for anyone. You just have to change your surroundings and your environment. Anyway, that's me for today. I'm gonna catch you tomorrow as always. My God.